Hey guys, what's up? I want you to think about something. I know this rings true to me. Uh, so maybe it's something you possibly have heard in your life, but do you remember people or anybody, whether it was relatives, whether it was family, your parents, friends, or you heard about it just through some random guy on YouTube, right? And they were telling you or selling you on the idea of in order to be successful that you have to work hard. How many people can relate to having someone tell them or pass the idea to them that working hard is the key to success and the life you want to live? Now, I know it's happened to me like since I've been in grade school, since I've been an adult. People are always convinced that if you don't have the life you want to live, is because you're not working hard enough, right? It's because you're not grinding. You know, we like to grind out here. We like to hustle and grind, but yet I don't see nature grinding. I don't see the trees hustle and grind to get the fruit, get the fruit produced. You know, I don't see animals hustling and grinding to get their young ones taken care of. I just don't see it. I don't see it in all of nature. I don't see birds hustling and grinding. I see an abundance of what a squirrel eats, acorns. There's abundance of acorns. I don't see anything or anybody hustling and grinding except, and please don't take this the wrong way, because when I say this, I'm not talking about living outside, living on the streets. I'm not talking about that. When I say poor, and it's sad that I have to say this, but I don't want to get canceled. I'm being facetious. You guys don't bother me. But when I say poor, I'm not talking about people that are homeless, people that have like mental issues, people that have just given up. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the working poor. So the people that work the hardest are the ones that make the least amount of money. The poor people are the ones working the hardest. How do I know this? I promise you I know this. Because all right, let me take you back to a job. Before I started my own company in 2017, and then I converted my moving service into a middleman business in 2020, and I'll never go back to doing the work. Let me share with you. Uh, I can give a list of jobs that I used to work at. By the way, thanks everybody. I know it's lunchtime, but I promise you I'm going to feed you better than that food you're about to put in your mouth. And some of you, you don't even need to be eating that, because we want to be healthy, because we want to live 10, 20 years longer than we're supposed to, and see our families and our children grow up. So real quick, and I'm only going to be a few minutes. I know this is for a lot of people, it's lunch. By the way, hit the thumbs up, hit subscribe if you're new to the channel. So before I started my own moving service, the reason I did is not only because I was homeless for the third time. So if you want to learn how to be homeless and survive and thrive, I'm your guy, right? But I don't recommend it. And so, but before I got into starting my own business, my moving service, the reason I was able to start that company is because I had that skill. So a lot of times as small business owners, we think about starting a business because we know how to do the thing, not understanding that the thing is going to give us a job and not a business, right? So it's a big difference. I always say this: if you miss work and your company doesn't make any money, that's because you have a job, right? It's your job. You're the boss, but it's still a job. Don't forget that. And so learn how to convert it. I applaud you because you stepped out on faith. Faith is the evidence of things not seen, and you didn't see it. So go with it anyway. And I can flow with that all day. And so I started the business because I got fired, right? So I got fired on a Tuesday from all my sons moving. So I had worked there for about 6 months. I wasn't even good. They had a terrible training program. I was making like $9 an hour in 2017. This is before I ended up homeless, making $9 an hour. I feel like personally till this day, they were still in my tips. How many ever worked at a tip place and feel like, I think they got my tips from me? I think they figured out a way. If you are on here, and I know this is kind of off subject, but if you're on here and you've had somebody potentially, or you felt like they might have stolen your tips, then hit the thumbs up if that's you, because I know it's me. I'll thumbs up. I know there were times where we were moving people and they would be like, "Hey, we're gonna put the tip in the bill." Never got the tip. Unbelievable, blew my mind. Even a pastor, and I knew this guy tipped us like $100, and I needed that $100 in 2017. I was broke, and I never got my tip, and so they fired me on a Tuesday, but that's okay. I quit the job on a Thursday, so 2 days later I quit. Anyway, after they fired me, so I showed them they don't have control, I have control. So I gave them back that old ugly green shirt. I still remember it, and I had nothing. I had nowhere to go, no anywhere. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I got 2 kids. Look at my life, blah, blah, blah. Boom. Next thing you know, I wake up homeless. I got an eviction notice on the door, and I'm letting y'all in on how my life really went that year. And I got an eviction notice on my door in Louisiana, because I was living in Baton Rouge at the time before I moved here to Dallas. And I got an eviction notice. I come home because I had been out looking for work. At that time in 2017, you could go to like the public libraries or like the campus, the schools, like they had Baton Rouge Community College. I would go there, sit in the computer lab all day and try to apply for work. And I came home. There's an eviction notice on the door. The eviction notice is 5 days. So I got 5 days to figure this out. The hard part is I don't have the rent money. And even if I had it, I don't have the next month rent money because I was already behind. So that money was coming due at the beginning of the month. That was the old money that I owed from the previous month. And the new money was coming due at the beginning of the next month. Right. So now I'm in a position where I got to have the rent pretty much twice, or I'm going to get another eviction notice. And it's like, hey, you can go to court, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, I don't want to go to court. I can't afford that. What in the world am I going to do? And it's not even fair for me to be in these folks' homes. This apartment, which was a crappy apartment, gunshots outside, people. Somebody broke into my apartment at least 3 times. Now, I didn't have anything. And they're in a bad position if they break into my apartment because I got nothing. And they broke in 3 times. I don't even know why. And they even, I don't know why, but this is the worst part. They even like took a crap in my closet the last time they broke in. So I don't know if it was personal. I don't know what it was. I felt like I was cool with everybody. I don't create issues. And I never figured that out, why they would do that. Maybe they're just a bad person, but that's how bad my life was. So I had to get some things out. I was so bad off that I couldn't even take anything from the apartment. I couldn't move furniture. I couldn't do anything. The only thing I took out of that apartment were my clothes. So I packed up, and I still remember, I packed up only the clothes that I could wear. So if I didn't need it, I didn't have it. So I packed up like all my dress clothes just in case I could get an interview. Put it in my truck. I had an SUV. So I put it in the back. I can't think of the name of the SUV. Montes something. Can't even think of it now, but I see them out from every now and then. By the way, if this is making sense to you and you understand where I'm coming from, hit that thumbs up. And so I ended up packing everything that I could into the back of a truck. So I couldn't bring furniture, couldn't bring TV, couldn't bring any of that. So I had to leave all of that stuff. Who got it? I don't know. Some of it was pretty decent, not great, but decent. So all I could take was clothes. Then I would take like underwear. I was taking things that like brush my teeth, stuff like that, deodorant, stuff like that. And then, so I lived in the truck for the first month. And so it's amazing what you can get used to when you're forced to. But trust me, you don't want to be homeless. You don't want to be in an emergency financial situation. And I was, and I'm giving you the real story of how it went down for me. Now, where I am today, totally different, but I'm telling you, it's I don't forget. And hit thumbs up, hit subscribe, guys, and let me know if you're liking this content. The only way I can tell is you hit the thumbs up or you comment. And but if you have a question or comment, drop it. If you can relate, drop it. And so I'm sitting there after I got fired, living in my truck, still can't get a job. So here's what I'm doing. And I don't know if y'all remember this, but I do. There are these places called labor halls or whatever, right? And so you could get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and try to get there. And then while you're there, hopefully they'll have some type of assignment where they can sing you out to. And so I would get there. Some days I would get lucky, get a job. Some days I wouldn't. I was coming back with $30, $40 for, a few hours of work. That meant a lot to me because I had no money. And then what I would do, there was a guy there, and he had been, living out in the streets for a while, and he told me, that's how I know everybody's not like mentally struggling that's out there. Some people just not having good luck. And so he told me, he was like, hey, can you drop me off? And I was like, where are you going? Because I didn't have gas or anything. I'm looking at the gas tank like, brother, I know you don't have money. You just came out of the same place I came out of, and I don't have money. And wherever I take you to, I'm probably going to have to sleep on that side of town because I don't have the money to keep moving around. And so I dropped him off at like this shelter. And he was like, man, I'm crashing here. And he was like, also, where are you eating today? I was like, man, I haven't eaten. I'm starving. And he was like, well, if you come with me, you park right here, come inside. They feed you at a certain time, so we can line up and get food. I was like, what? He was like, yeah, we can line up and get food. Man, I'm telling you, I was like Will Smith on The Pursuit of Happiness. I was so happy to hear that they serve free food to the homeless community. Oh my God. Not even homeless, less fortunate. Man, I parked that truck with the quickness and got in line with this dude. And his name was Ernesto. I'll never forget it. Dude's name was Ernesto. And incidentally, he was older than me. I grew up with his brother, his younger brother. And then I had seen him like when we were growing up, we were kids, but now 20 years later, we reunite and we're both trying to get food out the shelter place. And there's a line outside, but they let us in. And so we get in. They're serving spaghetti. I'm talking, we're eating, we're talking, some good people in there. Then after that, you can't just lounge around. You got to get out of there. So they got to clean up. Everybody's got to leave the mess hall. And so we're out of there. I'm like, all right, at least I know where I can eat. And so right after that, not long after that, I'm driving, and the truck I had was not a good truck. It was like banged up in a lot of places. Well, turns out one of my tail lights were out, and I didn't know. Wasn't anything I could do about it anyway. I didn't have any money, and my tail light was out, and so a cop pulled me over. Now, I don't have a home. I don't have insurance. I don't have anything. Right. And so I knew this was going to be a problem when I see the lights. I'm like, oh my gosh, I already lost my real home. Now I'm about to lose my temporary mobile home, which was my truck. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna talk to this guy, try to get him to have some mercy on me. And so I'm sitting there and I'm talking to the officer. He's a young dude back in Baton Rouge, and he comes back. He's like, man, you don't have anything. He was like, man, I see your stuff's in your truck. It's like, yeah, man, I'm in a bad position. And he was like, man, I hate to do this to you. And when he said that, like all the life went out of me. He was like, man, I hate to do this to you. And I'm telling you, my soul just left my body, because that, as bad as that truck was, that was all I had. That was it. I had nothing else. And not only was I going to lose the truck, I was going to lose my place to sleep. And not only was I going to lose my place to sleep, I was going to lose everything I couldn't carry. Does that make sense? And so I'm just sitting there like in slow motion, like, oh my gosh. So my mind starts fast forwarding to, what am I going to do? And I'm like, oh my gosh. Like now I'm starting to realize that it ain't just bad. It's bad. It's bad, right? And I got no money. I got no clothes. I got nowhere to live. I got no food. And now I don't have transportation to get to the labor hall, the temporary labor place. So now I got nothing. I mean, when I lost my house, my home, my apartment, I was down to something. But when I lost the truck, I was down to nothing. So here I am, I got nothing. And I know it's probably shocking y'all to hear me say this. And then you guys see me today living in a ridiculous neighborhood, beautiful homes, with my family, doing well. But that's not how it was in 2017. It was not this way. And I thought, I was like, what? I got to be the worst dad. I had two kids then. I was like, I got to be the worst dad. They were living with their moms. I was like, man, this is not cute. What am I going to do? My life is a complete mess, a complete waste. That's what I was thinking. So I went right into the pity party, started pitying myself, you know, blaming other people. Hey, it's not your fault. If they would have just, then you would have had, and blah, 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 and on, man. The family you were born into, they were poor. They passed this to you. This ain't your responsibility. You didn't ask to have kids. They got pregnant on their own. Just all this BS I started filling myself up with and giving myself this sad, sad story and building this cloud of pity just around me, just everywhere. It was making me physically sick. And so I took what I could. I knew the tow truck was on the way. There's nothing I could do. So I took everything I could out of the truck, just a little bag, and I had just whatever I could carry in a backpack. So all my clothes were pretty much gone. I got my underwear, stuff like that, toothbrush and whatnot. And I had what else I had? I didn't have any shoes because the only ones I had. I just whatever I could fit in the backpack. That's all I had. And so I left that night, and so I ended up sleeping in a park that night, sleeping on a bench, and then I got really smart. I adjusted, and I realized that most people leave the park at dark, and so what I would do is I would go into the ladies' bathroom because ladies didn't use the bathrooms there as much as men. I would go into the ladies' bathroom. That was like sitting in the middle of the park, how the restrooms are, and then I would lock it from the inside. And so if somebody knock on it, it doesn't matter; they can't get in because I've locked it from the inside, and I would sleep on the floor. And so I would do that. Sometimes there'd be somebody like security at the park overnight, and I couldn't do it. And so the second thing I started doing, because I didn't want to sleep outside, I was started going to apartment complexes, and then late at night I would start checking doorknobs for the apartments that I could tell were being renovated. So if the blinds were open and I could look in and nobody's there, I knew they were being renovated, and so I would start turning the knob. And I would start turning the knob on these apartments, and every once in a while I would get lucky. I would sleep in there and then get out early in the morning so nobody would see me. And that was my life, for 3 months. That's how I lived. And then I started my moving service. I was like, I got to figure out something. Nobody's hiring me. Uh, I don't even have an ID or a driver's license. All that was expired. And so what I did was I was like, let me jump on Craigslist. It was free at the time. I was like, I'll just let people know that if they need some help loading trucks or boxes, I'll be there. And this lady hired me. I went there. I did the work. I made about 40 bucks that day. She gave me a bag full of leftover sandwiches. Bless me. And I took that with me, and I just kept doing that over and over. And then I started making money. And then not long after that, I got off the streets, got an apartment. Wasn't any furniture or anything like that. I had nothing, but I was off the streets. And I started pulling furniture and whatnot from like trash piles. I got my mattress off the trash because people would, when they move out, they would throw away stuff. So I had a mattress, I had a couch, and that was pretty much all I had. And that's how I was living. I didn't bring my kids over. I was too embarrassed. Nobody's invited over. My life was a mess. And for some of you, one financial emergency could turn your life upside down. That's why I get on here so hard and I preach to you. You cannot rely on a job as your only source of income. You have got to figure out how to make money without going to work. Not that I don't want you to go to work, get your job, get your paycheck. But just in case something's happened, you need to know how to make money without going. And so that was how the nightmare was starting to end. And I started making money 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. Moved here to Dallas in 2020, met my wife, married her. We moved out here. We both agreed to move away from Louisiana. I just had so many bad memories. I didn't want to pass around those streets, think about this. I just wanted to get away, get a new start. Moved here, had two more kids. We have them now, Weston and Renly. And moved here in 2020, bought a house. I'm telling you, life was changing quickly. And beautiful house in this neighborhood where we still live today. And in 2020, I sat back and I was like, you know what? My back's hurting, my legs hurting. I'm doing this moving. I've been doing it for a while. I am. It's making money, but I'm hurting. And my wife was like, well, what do you want to do? Because my wife's a dental hygienist. And she was like, what do you want to do? I was like, I don't know. I got to figure it out. And so people were still hitting me up for moves. And I was like, hey, I don't do moves at all. But I know somebody who does. Let me just get your info and then let me connect you. And I connected uh, a few people to some friends of mine. And one of the guys hit me back, Courtney, and he's probably watching now. Courtney hit me back and he was like, yo, Shon, man, I appreciate the lead. I went and did the job, made some money. How much do I owe you? And I was like, what do you mean? He was like, that's just how I said. I was like, what do you mean? He was like, what do I owe you for the lead? I was like, nothing, man. I just wanted to, I couldn't do it. I was just helping you out. He was like, man, let me do something for you. I was like, bet. Okay. All right. So buy my wife and I lunch. Buy us lunch. And if I'm not mistaken, I think he might have gave us like $50. And so, because I told him we would go to like, my wife likes Applebee's. I like, I can't think of the name now. And I said it all the time. Papa Do's. So, but we ended up at Applebee's because, guys, if you're smart, you do what the lady says, right? So always make her happy. That makes you happy. So, and I was like, okay, bet we'll go there because she likes the cookie with the ice cream. I think it's Applebee's or Chili's, whichever one has the cookie with the ice cream at the end. And so we went there, hung out, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking about this. I'm like, dang, I just made $50 sending somebody a customer information, and I didn't do any of the work. And my wife was like, she was like Uber does. And I was like, hell yeah, like Uber does. Uber doesn't own the car. They don't own the driver. They don't own the rider, but they make the money. Proving to you that working hard is a scam. Not in the sense that you cannot benefit from it, but if you believe that's the only way that you can be successful, you're wrong and you believe the lie. Don't believe the lie. Working hard to make a living is a lie. These companies don't work hard. Jeff Bezos, you ever saw an Amazon truck driver out there? You see them all the time. They deliver so many packages sometimes they don't even stop. I swear, I swear to you, I see them in the neighborhoods all the time. They are so busy and overworked, they don't even stop the trucks no more. They just jump out the truck with your package, sling it into your front door, dive back into the truck, regain control, and get to the next stop. They don't even have time to stop. They work them so hard. But they make the least amount of money. Isn't that crazy? The warehouse workers who are getting the trucks loaded make the least amount of money. Well, who's making all the money? Upper management. Jeff Bezos. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you saw upper management on the back of an Amazon truck? Never. When was the last time you saw Jeff Bezos delivering packages? Never. Wait, but he created the company. Yes, but he didn't create it to do the work. He created it so you can do the work. He created a job for you. So I'm not against taxing millionaires and billionaires to the point where they can't afford to run the business. The business gives people work. I understand that. I'm a capitalist. Like I told my wife one day, I was like, everything for sale, make an offer. We're capitalists, right? Can't get the kids. All right, one of them. But everything's for sale. And so think about it. Airbnb, who does not own the property, does not own the furniture, the bed, the home, does not own anything. Yet, this company's worth billions of dollars and they don't own anything. They don't do any hard work. They just connect people for a living. Tinder, they don't work hard, worth billions, connecting people for a profit, connecting for a commission like Uber. And so what I thought about was, wait a minute, I can do this the same way Uber does. If these guys are willing to pay me $50 every time I send them a lead, I can do this all day long. Because I told my wife, I was like, hey, if I could do 5 of these a day, I make an extra $250. Now, that's not going to make you rich. So if you came here to talk about making millions a year, this is not your channel. This is a keep it real channel. This ain't a channel that's going to fluff you and tell you you could get rich and wealthy overnight. That's not what I'm here for. I have integrity and I know you do. So I'm not going to lie to you. right? So I would love to come on here and say, bam, my first year, because I started in April, because I was still trying to decide what I wanted to do. But I officially launched in April, Jumpin' Jack Movers. And still online, still got the company. But yet, you don't ever see me on back of trucks because we don't own them. You don't ever see me with a dolly or a box because we don't own them. And I never want them. You don't ever see an office or a bunch of employees around me because I don't want it that way. That's not the smart way. That's the hard way. Remember, you got to think smart, not hard, right? Smarter, not harder, like they say. And so I sat there and I was like, all right, I'm going to take off on this. My wife was like, boom, go ahead. Let's do it. So I jumped in 2020 in April. And at the end of that year, I had 77,000 in my Stripe account from there. And so 77,000 is not six figures. So I didn't even make 100 grand and I damn sure wasn't rich. So if you're looking for $1 million a year, this is not your channel. This is a channel just to teach you how to make extra money using your cell phone. How much you make, that's up to you. But I feel like if I could show you how to make an extra 2, 3, 4, 5,000 a month using only your phone without having to go to a job, then I feel like that's a win, right? So now if you want to make more, just go harder. But I feel like that's a win if you can make that, right? And so, and some of my students are already off and running. And so again, as I wrap this up, guys, just letting you know that the companies that are making the most money, they're not doing the work. And so I jumped in, made 77 grand my first year, wasn't six figures, didn't make me rich, but it proved that it could work if I just focus on it and turn up a little more, right? So I got serious about it, focused on it. The next year improved, the following year improved. And here we are this year where my goal is 350,000 for the year. And I'll let you know if I make it. And I'll let you know when I make it because I believe I'm going to make it. We're off to a good start. We're only first week into January, we're looking good. First week into February, I'm sorry, and we're looking good. So I just want to share with you that you can make money without always relying on your job. And in fact, that's a good thing. If you can learn how to make money without always having to go to work, then that is a good thing because I got news for you. Your job can fire you any day. And if they do, the question you got to ask is, what do I do now? How do I make money now? How do I get my bills paid? How do I keep my family fed and roof over their head? How? And that's the situation I was in, but I asked those questions too late. And so I'm here to tell you, you don't have to go through what I've been through. Learn from me. You don't have to suffer and be homeless and be broke and struggle life. Learn from me. I've done it. It ain't fun. Learn from me. I wish I could have learned from somebody else so I didn't have to experience it. But learn it from me so that you can live the life you want to live. Right? You got to find a way to make money. I cannot preach this or teach this enough. It's so important. How important? Major important that you learn how to make money without having to go to your job every day. Right? What's that you're watching me on? Your cell phone? Your laptop? That's all you need. Somebody hit me up and they were like, Shon, can I do this? Listen, couple questions for you because you're probably thinking the same thing. The first thing you're going to be asking is, does it work? Yes, it works. How do I know? Because I make money doing it and it's the only thing I do. That's it. So we know it works. My first year, I made 77 grand. I didn't even know what I was doing. Now my goal this year is 4 times that, 5 times that. So think about that, right? Does it work? Does it work for Uber? Does it work for Airbnb? The answer is yes. So we know it works, right? The other question would be, can anybody do it? Can I do it? Can you do it? Listen to me. You're talking to a guy who barely made it through high school. You're talking to a guy who's got no college experience, right? You're talking to a guy who was homeless just a few years ago for the 3rd time in his life. No, I was making a lot of mistakes. And you're talking to a guy who's turned his life around. So can anybody do it? Yes. I'm not smart. You're probably 10 times smarter than I am, right? So can anybody do it? Yes. Will everybody do it? No. Most people like the struggle life. They're addicted to it. They even hashtag it, struggle life, hashtag just getting by. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Everything starts with your mindset. So, does it work? Yes. Can you do it? Yes. And the third question, how do I get started? All you have to do, I put everything into an online training. That training is called the Middleman CEO Masterclass. It's about 6 hours long, but it's worth it. You don't have to rush through it. You get access for the whole year. It's 6 hours long. Take your time, watch it. I tell people rewatch it until it's programmed into your mind. Spend time. I'm going to teach you how to start, build, and grow your own successful company using only your phone. You, just like me, when I finish with you, you're going to be a middleman CEO. No more working hard to make a little. You're going to be a middleman CEO or a middlewoman CEO with your business. And so 6 hour course, it's got all the training, everything I know about this. And there's even better news, because once you finish that, you're going to be excited. Like, I got to go. Let's go now. I've had people email me the next day like, hey, I'm already rolling. Let's go. Right. But here's some of the greatest news, a bonus, that whenever you register and sign up, I care about you and what you accomplish so much, because my name is tied to your name now. Once you complete the masterclass, my success is tied to your success. I'm not successful until you're successful. And so I'm going to help you to be successful. What does that mean? Even after you complete the masterclass, you and we're going to do some one-on-one training, and we're going to do some group training, but we're going to do one-on-one, and I'm going to answer your questions. I'm going to guide you. I'm going to say, hey, where are you? Let's get this done. What do we need to be working on? Why haven't you accomplished this? Let's go get it now. Call me back when you got it. Let's build your business. You got your first client? Perfect. How much money did you take? Not enough. Let's get more money. Let me jump on a call. Let me show you how to get more money. And that's what I'm going to do, because, again, this is all I do. So I got nothing but time. Now, I do have a family. So, and I'm here in Dallas. So after 6 o'clock, you probably won't hear from me. But anywhere between like 8 and 6, you got me. But after that and on weekends, I'm with family. So just kind of respect that. Okay. But again, I get that freedom to do the things I want to do because I make all my money from a cell phone and I don't need a job. Now, am I against jobs? No. In fact, I tell my students, keep your job until I show you how to build your business well enough to where your business makes more money than your job. And then, oh, I love this. That's when I want you to walk into your boss's office and tell them they're fired. Listen to what I said. They're not going to fire you this time. You're going to fire them. But be nice about it, right? Because we got integrity, right? And so do that, and that's going to change your life. And I'm going to be there with you. I'm not just going to leave you like a lot of these coaches do with these $5,000 and $10,000 courses. You don't have to worry about that. The course is only $297. It's more if you go to middlemanceo.com. It's a lot more on the website, but I'm going to give you a special link that's discounted, and it's going to take you right to the checkout at the discounted rate of only $297. Now, you can pay $497, $697 through the site. It's up to you. I just recommend you save some money and start building your business. So if that works, I'm going to go ahead and drop it. If you have a question or comment, drop it now. But I'm going to drop the link for the course in the first comment below. And I promise you, it's going to change your life. The only question is, are you willing to put in that work? Right? I didn't say hard work. I just said that work. It does take work, but it doesn't have to be hard. Remember, I told you, the birds, they don't hustle and grind. The trees don't hustle and grind. You don't have to hustle and grind to get fruit. You just got to be in the right lane at the right time, in front of the right customer, in front of the right opportunity. And here you are. Because I always say, you're not here. You're not listening to me by coincidence. There ain't no coincidence. You're where you belong. You're supposed to be here. You probably been looking for me and I didn't even know. You probably been praying for an opportunity and I had no idea. But I'm just doing my job, getting on here, sharing it with you. That your job ain't safe. You cannot rely on that. That anything could happen and you could be in a financial emergency like I was. And I don't want it to happen to you. And so I offer you an opportunity to change your life. Even if you only make an extra $2,500 a month, that could change everything about your life and your kids' lives. Better home, better neighborhood, better car, more vacations. Come on, that's like $30,000 a year. I'm just saying, guys. So I'll drop the link. I got to get off here. I got a meeting. And then I'm going, what am I going to do? It's a beautiful day here in Dallas. It was raining yesterday, but when I get off here, I'm probably going to work out, play some ball or something. In the middle of the day? Yes. In the middle of the day. I'm even taking up golf. I will show you some video, but I'm terrible. But I just want to share with you again that if you use your cell phone, you don't have to be on a job site. You don't have to be anywhere. As long as you have a signal, your Wi-Fi signal, you can do whatever you want. I could get out right now, go behind me where the lakes are back here, or go over here where the tennis courts are and start learning tennis, or pickleball. This is a new game everybody's playing. And I could go do that right now. I'm watching people walk by right now. You've probably seen them in the videos. I'm just chilling in the neighborhood, right? My house is a minute from here. I've been blessed. Now, let me bless you. Okay? Let me give this to you. Don't say no to changing your life. I got to go, guys. Hit subscribe, hit thumbs up. The link is going to be in the first comment below. Grab that while the discount link is still active. And I promise you it's going to change your life. I'll see you on the next video, guys. Peace.